Save $400 on the Queen C4 mattress set with 24-month financing and free home delivery. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
I stood up to the Republican establishment. I stood up to the RNC, and they threatened to fire me if I did that, and that they made good on their threat.
Up first at 11, the growing divide between Donald Trump and the GOP. Tonight, the man who was the chairman for Trump in Virginia is now out of a job.
Yep, Corey Stewart was fired after he joined protesters outside the Republican National Committee headquarters today. His dismissal, just the latest sign of trouble for the Trump campaign. Jay Korf is here now with what Stewart has to say about this and more on this growing rift between Republicans and Donald Trump. Jay?
Yeah, Allison spoke with Corey Stewart tonight, and he says that his firing shines a light, if it does shine a light, on major issues that he has concerns about. Well, he's okay with that.
I call them establishment pukes because that's how they make everybody feel.
Corey Stewart, a staunch conservative and chair of the Prince William County Board of Supervisors, is not mincing words after losing his high-profile position as the co-chair of the Trump campaign in Virginia.
If this helps in any way, shape, or form to cast light on this problem, on this betrayal by the RNC and the Republican establishment, then I'm fine with it.
We want Trump!
Earlier in the day, Stewart supported this rally outside Republican National Committee headquarters in Washington. Protesters, including Stewart, blasted party elites for abandoning Trump, who has faltered in recent polls. A Trump campaign official even pleaded with the crowd to leave.
I work for Mr. Trump. Please go home.
Stewart says he was warned that this event could lead to his firing. It did. Trump's deputy campaign manager said in a statement, Corey made this decision when he staged a stunt in front of the RNC without the knowledge or the approval of the Trump campaign.
The RNC is concerned about one thing at this point. They're not concerned about Trump. They don't care. They've already written him off. And so what they're doing is they're moving the money over to the Senate races.
In another political bombshell, House Speaker Paul Ryan said today that he will not defend or campaign for Mr. Trump. But tonight, the head of the RNC reportedly told members during an emergency conference call that the party fully supports Mr. Trump and that the RNC has a great relationship with the Trump campaign. Reporting live, Jay Korf, ABC 7 News.
All right, Jay, thank you. So the Republican Party of Virginia's chairman is also responding tonight, issuing a statement saying in part, quote, while this turn of events is disappointing, I support the Trump campaign's decision to remove their Virginia chairman. With less than a month until Election Day, we can't afford any distractions. Leon?
And, well, Allison, tonight we're hearing from the woman who was at the center of all this controversy. She, in fact, was the target of the lewd comments that Trump made. Now, part of the recording between Trump and Billy Bush is about Trump trying to have sex with Entertainment Tonight host Nancy O'Dell. At the time, she was Billy Bush's co-host on Access Hollywood.
There is no room for objectification of women or anyone for that matter, not even in the locker room. The conversation has got to change because everybody deserves respect, no matter the gender or setting.
As for Bush, he is now a co-host on the Today Show. However, he's been suspended from the program indefinitely as of this morning. Bush has apologized for his role in that video.
Now,
Allison.
He wants to live in the White House, of course, but does Donald Trump believe in the future of D.C. itself? Well, that is the question being asked tonight after some comments the Republican nominee made about inner cities. It comes less than a month after he opened a multi-million-dollar hotel, of course, in downtown D.C. And tonight, the city's mayor is responding. Stephen Cheetah is live with what Mayor Bowser had to say about this. Stephen.
Allison, basically, Mayor Muriel Bowser asked why spend so much money turning the old rundown post office into this dazzling hotel if the District of Columbia is in such bad shape.
Washington, D.C. is hot on a cool night.
I moved to D.C. because I think it's amazing.
But when the presidential candidates faced off in the debate, Republican nominee Donald Trump had a harsh assessment of urban life.
You go into the inner cities and you see it's 45% poverty. African Americans now 45% poverty in the inner cities.
We heard one of the candidates, Donald Trump, lash out against cities, and ours in particular.
D.C. Democratic Mayor Muriel Bowser took to Twitter to counter the Donald's take.
We have businesses growing, including his own in Washington, D.C. So on the one hand, he comes to D.C. to profit, but then kind of badmouths our city.
Trump referred to inner cities repeatedly in his appeal to African American voters.
I would be a president for all of the people, African Americans, the inner cities. Devastating what's happening to our inner cities.
We've actually seen crime rates go down. And so we know we're a safe, wonderful city to live, work, and play.
Mayor Muriel Bowser stressed the center of D.C. is vibrant and diverse.
We're proud of the progress we're making for all people, African Americans, Latinos, and everybody else.
But there are pockets of abject poverty here in the nation's capital, and D.C., like other major American cities, according to police statistics, continues to grapple with a high homicide rate. Reporting live, Stephen Cheetah, ABC 7 News.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. Now, with a new poll giving her an 11-point lead over Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton spoke to